Hello guys, so in this video I'm showing us how to cut a shawl collar jacket. So we'll be starting from the back. Okay, so this is my shoulder line, then I have shoulder to my chest line. I'm using 9 inches, then shoulder to my half length 16 inches, and shoulder to the length of the jacket. So I use 25. You can use more than that. Okay, so now on the first now mark is my neckline. So I'm doing 3 inches by 1 inch for the back neckline. Okay, then I'll mark half of my across back measurements, and same thing on the chest line. Okay, so I'll use my ruler to connect the 2 points together. So basically I marked half of my shoulder measurement on the shoulder and chest line. Okay, then on the chest line I'll come down by 1 inch from the shoulder line and link it to the neckline. So now I have my shoulder slants. Okay, then on the chest line, this is my center back. On the chest line, I'm going to mark quarter of my bust circumference. So if you want, you can add half inch for ease if you want to. It's not compulsory, for ease. Then on the waistline, I'll mark quarter of my waist plus 1 inch for that intake. Okay, so my waist is, yeah. So then on the hip line, I'll mark quarter of my hip measurements. Quarter of my waist is actually 7.5. So on the waistline, I marked 8.5. Okay. So now I'm going to link all the points together like this. So I didn't add any seam allowance. So add seam allowance on the fabric when you're cutting it out. Okay. So next, I'm going to mark half of my bust span, which is okay. Before I do that, I'll find the midpoints of the shoulder slant and the chest line. Okay, then I'll go in by half inch. I want to position my armhole with my armhole curve. So this is the curve of my armhole. Okay, just find the midpoint of the shoulder slant and the chest line, and then that's all. Now half of my bust span is 4. Bust span is your nipple to nipple measurement. So I'm marking it on the chest, waist, and the hip line. Then I'll link all together with the straight line as I've done. Then I'll mark half inch on both sides of the line. You know, we added 1 inch for that intake on the waist. So that takes care of it. So I'll just link it back to the chest line like this. And then your dart should stop at least 2 inches before the hip line. Okay. And the length of my jacket is 25. That's around the hip line. Okay, so that's perfect. But if your own jacket is below the hip line, then that should start 2 inches, sorry, stop 2 inches before the hip line. So this is my back dart here. Okay, now we need to shape the center back. Okay, I'm just drawing my neckline like that. Okay, now we need the back measurement, very importantly, to draft the front. Okay, so I'll just place my tape on the neck like this and try, to make the tape go around the curve of the neckline. So I have 3 1/4. I'll write down that so that I don't forget. Then we need to shape the center back so that our jacket fits around the back properly. So I'll come in by half inch. Some people do 1 inch. It depends on how fitted you want it to be. Okay, so I'll come back by half inch. Then I'll link that measurement to my chest line like this, and I'll also link it to the hip line. Okay, if your jacket is beyond the hip line, just stop on the hip line. Now because we've done this, our waist measurement has been reduced by half inch. So what I'll do now is I'll add that half inch back to the side. Okay, so the whole essence of this is to make the center back shaped. So I added my half inch back to the side, then I'll link it back to my chest line like this and back to the hip line. So with this, the waist measurement is intact, right? So then I'll find the midpoint of my shoulder like that, and then I'll link that point to the chest line. So that way we've divided the back into two different pieces. So this is my B1, draw my arrow up, this is my B2, and you're cutting 2 of each. Okay, both on the fabric and on the lining. So I'll just quickly go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so basically when you're cutting a shawl collar jacket, you need the back neckline measurements. You need the back neckline measurement to be able to draft the shawl. That is why we're drafting the back pattern first. So I'm just cutting it out for us to see. So basically for this, when you're cutting it on fabric, you add half inch round, but the side seam allowance is 1 inch. Now coming to the front, it's still the same way we drafted the back, the same measurements. The only thing is that you can see that I left margin for the front pattern. Okay, so what we're going to determine now is called our breakpoint. Okay, so everything is the same thing: chest line, the waistline, every the same measurement to the back. Okay, then my front neckline, I also measured 3 inches, and that was all. I didn't measure the neck depth just yet. So the breakpoint is where the zipper is going to start, and then the dart stops 2 inches before the chest line. Okay, because it's the front. That's all. So now to get our breakpoint, the breakpoint is where your button is going to start. I beg your pardon. Yeah, so some for jackets, some button starts on the chest line, but for this particular design, the button starts from around the half length. Okay. So guys, somehow the part where I explained the breakpoints, the video got missing. So I had to like draw a smaller version of what we're already doing. Okay, so I want to explain to us how I got the breakpoints. That part of the video got missing, I don't know. Okay, so for the breakpoint, you're going to locate the waistline. Okay, the breakpoint is where the button is going to start from. So you mark your neckline first, and then this is my waistline here. Okay, so you're going to measure 1 inch from the waistline. Okay, so that's why when you're adapting your jacket, you should leave some margin. Okay, so I'll just mark 1 inch here, then 1 inch where the jacket will end. Okay, so next thing, I'm going to connect that together. So this is where you're going to have your button, if that makes sense. Then I will link this point to the neckline. Okay, so I'll just draw it together. So sorry guys, I'll still transition back to our original pattern. It's just that the part where I explained this breakpoint, I don't know, my village people, that part just got missing somehow. So this is, where this is the part that got missing. Okay, so back to our original pattern. So you measure the back neckline. Okay, now the line after the shoulder line. Okay, you're going to measure the back neckline measurement, the one we measured initially, which was 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so once I make my 3/4 of an inch, I'll go back by ½ inch because the collar has to sit properly. So I'll go back by ½ inch. Okay, and then I will tilt um the shawl backwards a bit. I don't know if that makes sense. I measured the neckline first, then I tilted it backwards by ½ an inch. Okay, so this is the back neckline measurement I measured. Okay, then I will now use my pattern master. See the way I placed it, very, very important. You have to use a set square or a pattern master, okay, to draw a perpendicular line or to draw, like, to square out an angle, if that makes sense. So I'm just, making that place more highlighting. Then I'm drawing another line across like this. Okay, so you must use a set square to get this because it has to be a right, it has to be like a right at a right angle. Okay, then I seem to have a shortage of paper. Okay, so I'll just use my sellotape to join paper at the top here. So when you're drafting your own, make sure you leave enough space at the top after the shoulder line, probably like 7 inches away. Okay, so that you don't have to be joining paper like I'm doing. Anyways, doesn't make any difference. Okay, so I'll use my sellotape to join paper at the top here. Okay, so once I join it, we can now measure the length of the shawl. Okay, so I'm still extending the line a bit. Then I'll tell us how many inches we're going to use to extend it. So for the shawl, you're still going to fold it into two. So the minimum you can do is 5 inches. So that when you fold the shawl, when you fold the collar at the back, you left it to 2.5. Okay, so I'm going to be measuring 5. Some people do as much as 6. It depends on how wide you want the shawl to. So I just do 5 inches. Okay, then I will now link this back to my breakpoints. Okay, so the shape of the shawl depends on you. You can make it very curvy, can make it straight, just depends on you. Okay, so but you cannot join it all at once. So you have to use the curved part of your ruler first to draw, link the breakpoints, like you're trying to link it back to the top of the shawl. Okay, so I'll first of all use the straight part of my ruler at this upper part here. So if you're doing this for the first time, you might want to use pencil first so that you can, just clean it in case you didn't get the curve properly. Okay, so I'm still linking this back to the upper part. All I'm trying to do is draw the shawl. Okay, so I'll just use my curved part of my ruler to shaping it to have that curve. So basically the shawl, the upper part is 5 inches, right? But as it goes downwards, the width reduces. Okay, so it's not 5 inches from top to bottom. It thins out towards the break point, if that makes sense. Okay, so just blend all the sharp edges and then you start to cut. So watch the way I'm going to cut it out. So I'm cutting the shawl together with the jackets. You can see that. Then we're going to create, link our dart to the shoulder. So you find the midpoint of the shoulder, link it to the dart like this. For some jackets, can be princess darts, whichever one you want to. It's a jacket. You don't need all those bustier tightening. You don't need it. It's a jacket, please. So you label it, okay, and you're cutting 2 pieces each on fabric and on lining. Okay, so I'm just labeling it. Okay, and then you cut out. So when you're sewing, very, very importantly, you need to mark your notch points so that you know what to join to what. But this is a cutting tutorial, so this is how it looks like. Very easy. Then the front pattern, if you want to, you can just curve it slightly to have that curved effect on the front. It's not compulsory. Okay, so we can just curve it in probably let's say 2 inches. There's no fixed amount, just get creative. So I'll just curve it slightly like this towards my break points, and then I'll just cut it out. This part is optional, you don't have to do this part. Okay, so this is it. So this is how it looks like. So you can use a plain fabric to cut these parts so I have a contrasting color. You can use two different Ankara to make the jacket. It's a very easy tutorial actually. So feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.